Really interesting what you had to say about paywalls. No one seems to have found the right magic formula, as you sort of referred to it as. We know that some titles are going behind paywalls. They seem to have quite low readership. How do you see it panning out in sort of the medium to the long term? Because something's got to give, surely.
Something has to give. At the moment, you've got this strange situation where some sites, some newspapers are trying to build audience free. So that's the Daily Mail, they're the best example of that. Massive audience, but it's entirely free, and they're going to the advertisers that way. Or you're putting up a paywall and saying to people, you've got to charge, and you can also then go to the advertisers and say, these people take us seriously because they're paying for it, and therefore they're going to read it. I do think in the end, we will be behind paywalls. I think it's absurd that a lot of our products, and there's a lot of energy, a lot of intelligence, a lot of skill, is out there for free. It doesn't make economic sense. I mean, look, if a restaurant puts a trestle table up in the street and put all the food on the trestle table and put a sign up saying help yourself, how many people do you think would actually sit in the restaurant? The answer is probably a few, because they'd want to be there for quiet, comfort, whatever. But the truth is that restaurant would not survive with a few people. Yes, it might end up that newspapers become luxury, or I'd prefer the word premium products. So they're premium priced. I still think newspapers are too cheap. In regards to the amount that is put into them, I think they're very cheap. I think if you compare the cost of a newspaper with the cost of a cup of coffee, the amount of man hours that goes into producing a newspaper every day is far higher. Some newspapers, including the one where I used to be editor, The Independent, that's like a small book every day. Well, look at the cost of books, they're a lot higher than newspapers. So I do think we're too cheap. So I think newspapers will go to one end, but I think there will be a paywall as well in the end.
And how long do you think we've got until, because consumers feel very spoiled, they've had it for free for a long time, it's going to take something persuasive perhaps to sort of make them do that, but how long do you think the industry's got until sort of everyone's starting to go behind paywalls?
I'd never put dates on the future because they're always wrong. I think the straight economics of it says people cannot afford to put all this stuff out there for free. It doesn't make sense. And don't forget, every time you're putting something out for free, you're damaging the newspaper. Why would you look at the newspaper when you can read it for free on the website? So I think in the end, the economics will prevail, and yes, people will have to pay. I think we're wary of it because one of the issues in this country, which is unique to this country, is that we have the BBC, which isn't behind a paywall and cannot go behind a paywall. Because of its charter, it cannot do that. That is a major problem. If you've got a big source of news and entertainment information, which will always be free, then how can you compete behind a paywall? And that is an issue, and we do think about that a lot.
So is it more about having the quality sort of voices for the newspaper, columnists, sort of like offering something a bit unique and different?
Yeah, I mean, newspapers are trying this. Unfortunately, we're not over blessed with money, but what newspapers are trying to do is hire and hold on to their unique voices, because those unique voices are what is going to make people pay. People aren't going to pay to read the Man United Liverpool football result. They'll get that for free. But what they might want is the super analytical report from a well-known sports writer that they can't get anywhere else. That's the point.
Okay.